Hey guys, so I am making cauliflower salad. It's very basic to do, so I'm gonna share with you the ingredient and then I'm gonna show you the preparation part and the mixing it. So there you go. So I will be using cauliflower. I found this amazing white cucumber at the farmer's market. The gentleman said that it tastes so good and refreshing, so I'm using the regular cucumber. I don't know if you can see it. I'm using radish. We're only going to use the stem and we're going to slice it up so it's like a little bit less pieces, and then from there we'll mix everything up. And then I'm going to use fresh lime to squeeze, and we're using honey and instead of sugar, so it's pure honey. I got all of that from farmer's market. And my favorite ingredient of all is the apple cider vinegar, because most of the salad usually you need that citrusy, so apple cider vinegar give you that substitution of citrusy and fruitiness. So hopefully this will work. We are going to cut up the cauliflower. So what I typically do is cut in half and then another quarter, then kind of break it out into almost like bite size, so whatever you're comfortable with, but don't make it too mushy, then it will just be too tiny to kind of mix it up. You still want it to keep the form so that it's still easy for to mix it up. Alright, earlier I was showing you this is what you have to do. Cut it into 4. You see how it starts falling apart? Well, it's falling apart because it's right at the end, so all you have to do is just kind of break it. But if it's getting way too big, like these pieces are perfect size, biteable size, then just kind of chop it up a little bit. So you basically just finish this. I'm going to show you the end product, how it looked like after I cut it all up and break it apart, okay? So we basically just chopped up all the cauliflower, and this is how it looked like. My next thing I'm going to do is peel this cucumber. So the cucumber is the reason I'm peeling this one, because the skin is a little bit harder. If you're using either Persian or English cucumber, which is a little less seedless, you technically don't need to peel it because the skin will just be very crunchy. And I don't think I will have to peel the white cucumber either, because this is kind of crunchy looking, so it's just the one that have kind of soft skin. You do want to peel it, and then once you peel it, if there's seed in the middle, you want to core out the seed. And the reason why, because when you're mixing into the salad, you kind of want it to keep less water, and you want to have that crunchiness versus the seed kind of give you that soggy kind of when you bite into it, and you don't want that. So okay, so I just peeled the cucumber. I'm cutting it in half so to show it to you. I have to take these seeds out, and the reason again is because it's kind of mushy. So if you use like Persian or English pickle or cucumber, you don't need to do that. So that's what I'm gonna do next, and Grace is gonna help me do that. Okay, once you finish coring all the seed out, this is what it looked like. From here, we're gonna slice it up, and as right now, Grace is doing it for me, so you kind of slice it up like that. So basically, biteable side again, so that it match with the cauliflower, as well as not too small, not too thin, and it's easy enough where the seasoning will fit perfectly. So, next up, the radish. But before that, I'm gonna show you how it looked like. So there's cauliflower, the cucumber. So with the white pickle or white cucumber, I left the seed where it is and the skin because they're kind of a little bit crunchier, and we're just cutting it a little bit smaller in terms of the other one. We've cut it a little bit bigger. So just, I didn't know with the crunchiness, I don't want it to lose it. So great time with the season is radish. Radish is amazing. People have no clue what are some of the benefit back of radish. They're high in antioxidant. They're high in vitamin C, especially the redder it is, the better the color. They're really good for your skins, your eyes and stuff, and especially in the summer, the more radish you consume, the better it is. You know, you really want to have that. So what we do is we're gonna break each of this. We don't need to peel it, and we're gonna slice it thinly enough, and then we're gonna mix it up, and I'll show you how the slice works. So the radish look like this, and then from here, what we're gonna do is get rid of the stem for both ends, just like that. And then once we get rid of it, so you have two options of cutting the radish, right? Some people preferably just slice it this way. But I found that if you are unsure how to use your knife skill, my recommendation is to have flat surface. So I like to do is make sure this stay flat. Once it stay flat, hold your radish like this, and do not want to chop your finger. So what you want to do is you want to position your knife like this and just kind of go keep going. And you see how thinly I'm slicing it down? If you're not a big fan of radish, because not a lot of people like radish, you could slice it in half. So at this point, I'm right here in the corner. Lay it flat like this. Put your finger on top of it. Slice your knife through. So mistake can happen is when people decide to use 2 fingers instead you just need 1. And once you do, there you go, just break your radish. From here, you could slice it down in half if you choose to. Based on the way how my cauliflower and cucumber are, I'm just gonna leave it like this size. So that's easier and biteable. You can just pause. Alright, do you guys see how it's all cut up? So these pieces, you see how they're thinly sliced? So they're edible side, right? So they're not that super big and they're mixed well with it, and it gives that like green and white and red color, so they're beautiful and I love it, especially in the summer salad. So the next thing we're gonna do is squeeze some of these limes. So a lot of people ask me how you pick lime, because most of the time you pick lime and you're like, they're so hard and you can't squeeze juice. So this is the trick to it. You see how very glossy looking, and when you kind of touch it you can feel that juice. It's like it bounced back to your thumb, and you want to pick it where it doesn't look too dense. What I mean by dense is you can see the grit in where the lime is. You want it kind of still squeezable enough and they're glowy, and when it's glowy means there's packing juice, and that's basically it. And so what we're going to do is cut in half and squeeze all the juice out of it and mix it with the salad and as well as our apple cider vinegar. So my next step is kind of put in the apple cider vinegar. A lot of people ask how much or how little. Well, here's the thing, I love apple cider vinegar, so I will put as many as I could to kind of soak my vegetable. But if you are not that big of a fan, I would say use probably half a cup to kind of flavor. So what's good about apple cider vinegar or any kind of vinegar at all is that it makes the vegetable crispy. So if you made this and you're like, I didn't really eat it, I'm gonna eat it next day or so, it still kept that freshness and crispiness. And the cool thing about cider or any of these, it turned to antibiotic. So, well, probiotic especially. So if you're taking any antibiotic, you can't have this because it will kill everything that you're taking. But that's about it. We're just gonna mix it up and we'll go from there. So I got my lime squeeze, so you can see. And a lot of people say they don't use the pulp. I love the pulp of those lime, because when you bite into anything, and if you ever had a piece of pulp in any of your food, it gives you that like sweet citrusy, because that's the thing about lime, is that it gives you that sour citrusy, but yet give you that like sweetness, and I think it's from the fruit. So we're gonna use the honey. So question is how much honey should you put, right? Well, again, it's really all come down to you. So if you want a little bit sweeter, add more honey, but if you're not, then put a little bit. So right now I'm gonna try to about maybe 3 of the spoon to see how it is sampling first. And so I'm gonna mix it with the lime juice and as well adding into the Hawaiian salt. So I'm not advertising Vitalife, but I think Hawaiian salt are great. They're basically natural salt it's from Hawaii, and it's just a stone and evaporate in the ocean. So, and then what we're gonna do is it's basically prevent like a lot of bloating, and it's really good source of iodine that is natural versus man-made. So the whole point of it is just a little bit to give you the salt. And I'm also gonna use this one, which is one of my favorite, is Gibson's Steakhouse. And you're gonna ask me, why are you using steakhouse seasoning? Well, these have a lot of seasoning in there. There's a lot of spices in there. So the whole point of it, like there's some garlics and stuff, and it just tastes really good on anything. And the third ingredient I'm adding into is the garlic powder. If you are, or you have your own garlic powder, whatever you want, that's on you. It's just garlic powder with the salad. It's kind of helped it with that garlicky kind of taste, and it's really yummy. So that's what I'm gonna mix it all together. All right, so this is what it looked like. We are now gonna pour that in here. We're gonna mix it up. So cool thing about any of these ingredients, if at any point when you taste it and it's not according to how you want it to taste, so a lot of people like it a little bit sweeter, some people like it a little bit saltier, some people like it a little bit lemonier or citrusier. So whatever the case is, if that's the case, then add on your ingredient later. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this, pour it into this, and then we're gonna mix it up. Okay, all right. Once I mix it up, then I'm gonna sample it again and then add the honey or any more cider vinegar. And I usually have extra like the lime left, so just in case I have to squeeze any of those things. That's it. So here is the final product. So here's the thing about these salad. They're so easy to do, as you can see, basically just chopping up everything. And now this is what it's gonna look like. And you can eat it with meat or any sort of thing. Jen is holding the Amazing Grace chain. And she is also gonna give you a little bit beautiful flower laying out. There you go. All right.
Oh, well, presentation.
This is very pretty.